Today we're going to talk about vampire fiction. Not everyone's cup of tea, but I'm talking about well-written, beautiful vampire fiction. This is one of them. This is James Fahy's The Phoebe Harkness series. What I loved about this series was firstly the protagonist, Phoebe, sassy scientist, very smart and very funny as well. It takes us through a dystopian world where we look at the conflict between humans, werewolves and vampires. And what I loved about it was the dark humour, and James Fahy's dark wit and humour comes through on every single page. The first book, Hell's Teeth, second book, Crescent Moon, and the third and highly anticipated book, Pale Children, will be out this year, I believe. It is an awesome read, really intelligent and really fun, and highly recommended. Phoebe Harkness series, get on. The second amazing vampire fiction I've got for you is the Gabriel Davenport series. This is book 2, Shining in the Shadows by Beverly Lee. It's such a beautiful book, and it takes us through vampires and the paranormal and looks at the conflict and the relationships between humans and vampires and fighting against the paranormal together. You will absolutely fall in love, as I did, with the 3 young vampires, Teal, Moth and Gabrielle, and look at their story. And beneath the paranormal and beneath the vampire story, there is a story about love and friendship and the fragility of our species and other species as well, and how we can come together in difficult times. And the third awesome vampire fiction series that I'm going to recommend today is the Undeadly Secret series by our very own Australian Aaron L. Speers. How cool is it to see vampires lurking around Sydney? Usually they're lurking around in Europe and we see them in those predictable places, but now they're lurking around Sydney and all the places that Australians know, love very well. It's a story again about conflict between vampires and humans and how we can possibly live side by side, or not, because there are some vampires who just really don't like humans. But beyond that, it is a story about love and sacrifice and how much you are willing to sacrifice for yourself and ultimately love. Support Australian indie writers. Aaron L. Speer, he's pretty awesome, and if you hear him on the podcast, he's an absolute scream.